You are now listening to the National Show with Gangsterville and McGee. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. The National Show, the National Show, the National Show, no show, no show. All right, No Nation. This is the National Show with Gangsterville and McGee. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Our YouTube page is at National. That's at NATIONOLE. IGX and all the links you need are on our link tree. That's linktree.com/National Show. NATIONOLESHOW. And that's the links. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and join in with us on this No Nation Talk.
Yeah. You can also go to national.com. All those links are there. You can also watch the most recent episode.
Yep.
Right there right on the website. Yeah. Shout out to Binsky. And
yes, sir.
Contact us. Holla.
Let us
know what we're doing wrong and what we can do to be better.
Right.
At some point, we're gonna have to start sharing footage from our pre-show experiences because today's was
freaking nail biter today, man.
It was special. Live internet, baby.
Oh man,
we got there.
Right at the finish line too. Like
show must go on. You know?
When them
I was ready. I
I
started stretching. I'm like, all right, so how do you start this? I'm like scrolling up to the script. I'm like, getting ready. You know, I was ready.
Oh man!
All right, No Nation.
Right.
Home show. I was ready.
That's what's up, man.
Good to see you. I don't mind the off season when we take a week off, we do a show, take a week off, do a show, because I know how busy we both are in our real lives, and I know how busy we are once football season starts. But like I miss seeing you, I miss talking to you, And we got kind of an important conversation. We gotta have this kind of important conversation. We don't have to dive right into it. It can be later in the combo, all right? But there is a combo we gotta have. We gotta look at the mirror collectively.
Yes.
Yeah. But before we do that, we can talk about some odds and some gambling and talk about the ACC Conference Championship odds as of right now for next football season. If that is something that might be interesting to you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
Right. All right.
Yeah, that's a good. The ACC next year, I think, is going to be a little more open than it's been in a long time.
I agree. You, when we touched on this recently, you got me even lower on Miami than I already was. I'm not. I mean, I know. I think we're going to be much better than last season. All right, let's just put that out there right now. But I don't think we've done everything we need to do to get to that point.
Right.
There's some teams in the ACC that are going to be better than they've been in a while. Virginia, but they were pretty bad. So them getting better is expected. Pitt's had a couple good seasons, but I think they're going to be decent. I don't know. Louisville, Georgia Tech maybe is in the conversation.
Yeah,
but
they're always Louisville is always a stinger, man.
Not sure what to expect out of UNC with the new coaching regime over there. They got an interesting situation. So, it's more of a conversation than it's been. It's not the 2 or 3 horse race that it's been. In previous years, but there's a clear-cut favorite. Clemson's the clear-cut favorite. They finally embraced bringing in some transfers and stuff if they are kind of effective at doing that, right? If they are,
Mm-hmm.
like partially effective at doing that, they could be a beast in the conference. So
Yeah, but even with them being the clear-cut favorites, I don't feel that they're like, this isn't the Deshaun Watson Clemson. You know what I mean? This isn't the star-studded, talent behind every position Clemson. This is just the best in the ACC right now, Clemson.
Yeah. They're not coming into the season with Trevor Lawrence and and a clear-cut structure and plan. But that doesn't mean 3 weeks into the season, we're going to be like, oh, shit, there's the next guy. There he is.
Right.
That's how college football works. I didn't know who Trevor Lawrence was until all of a sudden he trots out there, and I'm like, uh-oh. that guy looks ready. That guy looks ready, right?
Yep.
Let's, I didn't know who Deshaun Watson was until I remember. Actually,
I
remember watching that game.
Two situations. There was two freshmen coming in. I'm like, who the fuck is him? Next thing you know, damn, dude got it.
yeah. There's only one freshman we're conversating about because that one's it. Right? That was it.
Yep.
All right. So I figured I would start with like the longest odds, and I would just kind of mention them all. You just stop me when you hear a team that's interesting, like conversation wise with you. Okay. Stanford and Wake Forest are both plus 35,000. So you put up $100, you win 35,000, 350 to 1. Okay.
Jeez, doing Stanford like that is when did Andrew Luck take him?
He's there, man. He's the boss.
But when did he get there? Did he just get there, or did he get there before the start of last season?
Early. He got there earlier in the off season, but remember they hired a coach late. They hired what's his name who coached he got Frank Reich. Who coached
yeah. He was at the Colts
the Eagles
for a minute.
Right.
Yeah, he was at the Colts with old boy too. I remember Frank Wright.
So that's right. He was with the Colts and after the Eagles. That's interesting. But there's so much work to be done, and ultimately, I don't think Frank Reich's the answer long term. Or he's probably just kind of getting things back in order and then getting it ready for the next guy, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Neither them nor Wake Forest are necessarily a threat to win the ACC this year. Boston College is plus 20,000, 200 to 1 from BC. That's
no look for BC this year.
Well, we know who's not playing quarterback at BC this year.
Right.
They're in
that bit nice, man. I think they'll. Well, I don't know. I don't know about winning the ACC, but I think they got a better chance than that.
Right. They got, but at some point you have to put up a big enough number to get people to put some money on it, so you can pay off whoever wins. So if you're the book, you sometimes you gotta give a little bit longer of a number. And so if you got the inside info and you're thinking, man, BC got a chance. Look at this defense. That these guys or whatever. You never know. Maybe you want to take a little weight or the flyer on them, right? UVA kind of out there too, 150. So it's a plus 15,000, 150 to 1 on your money. All right. Pitt and Cal are plus 8,000. So 80 to 1. You put up $100. You win the 8,000 if they win the conference. Syracuse and NC State are plus 5,000. So 50 to 1 to win. Virginia Tech plus 4,000.
That
I don't even see. There you go. I was like, I wonder what he's interested.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I don't. Virginia Tech might be a sleeper.
The classic year away from being a year away, right? Like I just think they're. I think they're going to be much better. They're heading in the right direction, but I don't view them as a threat to win the conference yet. But again, like I said, I didn't know who Trevor Lawrence was. So all of a sudden he trots out there. You never know. These guys, brought in the right guy. He might have grown an extra 2 inches since he got there, and then they coached him up. And all of a sudden, it's game time. The right quarterback and pass rusher can really change, you know,
Oh yeah.
the conference
A
picture.
solid
you know?
offensive and defensive line, period. Because that's really all that Clemson got on top of everybody is a solid offensive line and a defensive line and a steady quarterback that's been there for about 4 years.
Yeah.
That's
And then
key right there.
and we're not even, I mean, I haven't looked at everybody's schedule except ours, right? So I don't know how this all works out, but you give an improved team that's like motivated and ready to go and into playing for each other and all that stuff. You give them the right couple wins early in the season, and you and I both know, especially with young men that are playing football and are getting compensated for doing so these days, you know, they're gonna get used to winning. They're gonna really like winning. They're gonna want to keep winning. Sometimes you forget how to lose, and next thing you know, you're rolling. You know, the crowd's into it. Everybody, you know, it's party time. Big man on campus type shit.
Right.
So watch out. You never know who can. This is kind of where in the list. This is kind of where you start talking about those teams that can kind of. Oh shit! You know, who's having a great year. You know. All right. So Virginia Tech is at plus 4,000. Right? Duke is at plus 3,000. So 30 to 1 to win the conference. And then we get to Florida State at plus 2,200. So 22 to 1 to win the conference. Does that sound too much? Too little? Perfect? About right? Like, what are you thinking?
Honestly, from the way we performed last year, I'm shocked that we're this far ahead or whatever. With the 2,200. So I say giving us a little butter on the frying pan. I would hope that we would finish a little higher than that. Maybe it's the fan talking or whatever. But I do feel that they're just in giving us these odds. We deserve every single bit of that.
So, there's 5 other teams I haven't mentioned yet, which means, according to Vegas, we're essentially potentially the 6th best team in the conference.
Yep, and I base this just off of our performance last year and stuff or whatever. It's not. I don't see this as what our potential could be. My potential, you know, with all of the people that we brought in, especially coaches, quarterback position, receivers, I'm at least top 4 in the top 3 in the SEC.
I expect
top 3, top 4.
Yeah, I expect we overperform this projection.
But I get it. Hell, last year we finished last in the ACC last year, bro. We finished last.
Yes, so. I remember. Thanks. Tell me one more time, please. Please remind me one more time.
Damn, boy.
You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me live on cam, live on stream. I'm gonna fucking kill over. Man. Is this the right number though? Like, let's say you sit down on the couch and drop the remote, and you're reaching for the remote, and you find $100 bill that you didn't know you lost, that wifey didn't say anything about. It don't matter if a kid lost $100; they don't ever get it back, right? That's yours. That's your $100 bill, right? Your crib, your hundy. The dog doesn't get to keep it; you get to keep it. If I offer you 22 to 1. Is that enough to get you to put that $100?
Yeah, for $100. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Yes, I would.
I think it's the right number. Like it just it feels like it's enough to entice action, you know. But it's not. I don't feel insulted, you know. Right. Like, if they had said 50 to 1, I'd be like, all right, here's my money. But fuck, man, you know, like it would have just reminded me that it's, you know, we got no chance. But at 22 to 1, like all right, let's keep going. Let's get through the rest of these. Plus 2,200, Florida State. So, UNC, new coach, new chaos, plus 2,000, 20 to 1.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that one.
Yeah, I'm not ready to.
I'm not.
But in fact, I might be willing to bank it. If
Against
somebody
it.
else wants to bank it, you know,
Right. I'm about to say, I go against
that's
that.
a hard fade. Hard fade
Yeah.
by me.
New sheriff in town didn't do much last year. I don't see him, coming into a team that was already underperforming and just magically have them dominating this year.
I do think they probably recruited and crushed the transfers. They got the right guys. They got guys who want to play in the NFL, and so they're going to be much better talent-wise.
Yep, but even with all of the right people, you still have to get used to the system that you're playing or whatever. I kind of look at our team, not last year, not the year before, but the year before that. The year before we went undefeated when we had lost 3 games or whatever.
Yes.
And that was a perfect example of a team. We had all of the tools that it took to, win a championship or whatever that year. It's just the team needed more gelling and more.
Wasn't ready.
Yeah. More mixing in the offense and all that stuff, whatever. Yeah.
And it's tough when, the first year of a new coaching regime. And that's across the board in sports. That's any sport.
Mm-hmm.
But
new
we talk
terminology, new playbooks,
right? Especially in football. Yeah. That's why what Coach Prime did was so amazing, right? That's why it was so amazing. And yes, there was losses, and they never won the conference with Shedeur, but that they went from horrible to amazing very quick, to horrible to relevant very quickly. Yep. It's hard to do that, man.
Yeah,
especially in a sport with a roster this size. You got to get not just all the players, and it's a lot of players, but not just all the right players for your system, but you also have a coaching staff of 30 or something that you got to have all the right guys, and a medical and training staff of another 15, and the right boosters and support staff and so much. There's so many moving parts. It's really hard, man. It's really hard to make that quick switch.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So, a hard fade on UNC. If UNC wins the conference, holler. I'll do something. If anybody brings this up to me, I'll do something nice for you. I do not believe that they have any chance. Georgia Tech. Now, Georgia Tech is kind of a team to keep an eye on, right? They have done what UNC is doing, right? They have had a couple years under the same voice. They've put all the people they've hired and fired on the coaching staff and all the support staffs, right? They've put all the people in the right place, and they have a good roster and vibe and attitude. Everybody maybe on the same page, definitely close to the same page. They're on the same chapter. Everybody's in the same chapter going the season, right? If they take that extra step, this is a perfect team where I talk about the right schedule early in the season. They get some confidence going like this. If they take the next step, watch out for Georgia Tech for the conference. They are at plus 1,000, so you can get 10-1 on Georgia Tech. Louisville, kind of always in the mix. Even the years we expect Louisville to be not great, they tend to kind of be in the mix somehow. Right?
They went 9-3 last year. They are who we thought they are.
They went 9-3, but their Wenke-esque 26-year-old quarterback is gone. Right, so they are changing.
They always do good at getting quarterbacks, bro. They got a room. And quarterbacks, they gonna keep a damn quarterback.
They got a room, man. They got a quarterback room. They got a quarterback room I'm jealous of.
Most definitely. Yeah,
we haven't had a room like that in a couple years.
You just let us hold one. Last time that happened, it turned out good.
Only 2 teams left to talk about, and it used to be the 3 of us, and now it's sort of the 2 of them, right? And that sucks. I hate it. But Miami,
fool's gold.
Miami, another team that I'm almost willing to bank. right? I don't really believe in them either, but I just don't.
Man, I'm gonna tell you a story. Miami this year reminds me of when I worked at this home improvement place. I would go into the garden center and there was this certain plant that would smell like, I'm talking top shelf garbage. I'm be like, what in the world's going on here? Like, is someone, bringing some stuff here on the premises? And then I walk up and down the shelves. It smells so strong. And I get there and it's like freaking lavender or something. You know what I mean? And that's what I see Miami as this year. They're sounding off like they're going to be this, that, and other. Every year we're hearing about the top recruits that they're getting in that they never end up doing nothing with or whatever. But you look at what they actually have on the roster and they ain't got nothing. That boy from Georgia ain't, he has shown at Georgia that he cannot compete without a bunch of talent around him or whatever. He's not going to be the one to lead the offense, and they lost all of their production, bro. Like all of their production across the board, running back, receivers, tight ends, all of them are gone, man. So it's too many positions we next man up. That's cool. For every other position, but across the boards, nah. And then you put that with the team that they had last year, which was so good and so talented, and look, they couldn't even win the ACC then. Right. So you mean to tell me with a team that's I'm giving him the best company. He is not Cam Ward. They don't have Vespepio or whatever that receiver was, number 7 or whatever. They don't have people that can do stuff like that or whatever. It's just too many parts or whatever. So I'm saying no.
At 350, it's not. It's.
I actually might bet against that.
Yeah, no, I would fade it. I would fade it. I would literally, I'd bank it. If somebody else wanted to bet it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There are platforms you can find out there. You may have to use creative browser, processing, but there are like two-way action platforms where you can choose both sides of that. You can set your number. You can say, I'm so confident, I'll take action at 320, up to X number of dollars I'm willing to bank. And there are two-way platforms out there, and there's more being developed all the time. That's the most fair way to gamble, is to enable people to gamble against each other, rather than have a house and a hold and everything. They can just take a little percentage for enabling. I would think that's the most fair way, because then I don't know. It gives me either side options. Like I have yes or no chances to bet this. Right? It's not just me only saying, hey, do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? Do you like this? If I don't like it, I want to be able to bet on that too, and not every platform enables that, and not every state requires that. Not every, etc. Because of regulations, they change everywhere. But there's a rise in platforms that are P2P, player to player, person to person. Right? So I think that's pretty cool. And if one of those platforms would like to sponsor the national show or any of the shows that are a part of the Bet Your Ash podcasting network, we're here to talk, man. We are here to talk about your product and use your product and demonstrate your product to the 7 or 8 people that watch the show.
Right on.
All right, so Miami plus 350. And finally, we get to the number, I don't know, the favorite in the conference to win it all.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. Plus 120. So you can still get a plus number, right? You're not having to lay numbers to win it. But yeah, plus 120.
Word.
Is that interesting? Is that worth rolling the dice? Would you tie up money all season long for a plus 120 payoff? You can make more than that just on game 1. Like just on the first game of the season, you can make that profit. So there's no real reason to bet it unless, you're in some situation, some sort of pool where you have to or something like that.
Right. Totally agree. Yep, they totally deserve it. Wouldn't be no surprise. And for that amount, man, who's going to bet that and wait, 12, 14 weeks just for,
So the
Montero.
only things that really got our interest was Louisville, Georgia Tech,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Florida State at 22, right?
Mm-hmm.
At plus
Yeah.
2200.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech, maybe let's talk next year when they're 25 instead of 40. But still, let's talk next year.
I still would say Boston College may be a sleeper. Like if
At
I had
200,
an
man.
extra 100 that I wanted to bet, and on
It
some
would not
jackpot
suck to
type
get
stuff,
right.
yeah,
It would not suck to get 20K right and right before Christmas.
yeah. Because you think they went 7-6 last year. I want to say that was who's their coach, like Bill O'Brien or somebody from the NFL or whatever. That's why Castellanos transferred, is because they was looking for more of a pro style quarterback instead of a dual threat. So, and then it was the first year in the system. And that first year, he did damn good considering what he had coming into and everything or whatever. Yeah. So, that Boston College situation is that if I had an extra $100, I'd probably put it on that. I could see them being a sleeper to win the ACC.
Yeah, maybe the move would be to take that $100 and rip it in half and put $50 on Florida State at 22-1.
Oh no! I'm putting 100 on
I'm gonna say half a unit.
I just open the bigger bank. Nah.
That 10K bag, $50 to win 10K on Boston College.
I gotta do it this year, man. I'm gonna put that 100 on Florida State because I'll be damned if we come out and have a solid like Jameis Winston type year or whatever, and I ain't putting nothing on my team. Like, nah. Especially in this situation where the odds are so sweet. You know what I mean? Like, I bet when you put that ticket on that year, those odds was nowhere as huge as they are this year.
Here's my thing. It just dawned on me that actually, if you like Florida State to win the conference, you don't bet it until after Alabama wins in Tallahassee by a couple points, or by a touchdown.
Think about that, yeah. But what if we
then
beat Miami
the number will go up?
And what if we beat Alabama and the opposite happens?
There, that's true. So maybe here it is.
Maybe do two of them. Split that 50.
You put 50 on Florida State right now, and then see if we beat Alabama, or if it's a close game. Because if we have a close loss, or like a reasonable loss, right?
Right.
A 9-10 point, that number might go up to 30. It might go up to plus 3,000, and I'll put that other 50 on it. Bigger payoff. But you're right. If we beat Alabama, that number's going down. And
we won't see that number ever again. So
interesting. I didn't. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I haven't pictured Florida State coming out this season and knocking off Alabama and like feeling real good with the quarterback situation and start rolling and rolling and rolling. If we're gonna think like this, the bet is we probably get better odds if we bet Florida State to make the playoff than we do if we bet, oh no, you know what? Because it's 14 people, there's all those. We probably don't. We probably don't get 22-1. We probably get a worse number. Huh?
I would
honestly. Why be greedy? I would just put my full hundy with you on the 22. I'm good. Let's just go for the conference. I'm not even thinking.
And it's
about
like even if I'm losing, if I lose the bet, I'm good. But I will not live with myself if we win or at least I know there's a bet for us at least making it to the ACC championship game or whatever. Like I want to take those or whatever because I don't think the odds will be this sweet. And if it happens, I'm gonna be kicking myself in the foot, man.
I just want you to know that like I don't know. I don't have any kids. I've never gotten married. So like I'm not really going to offend anybody with what I'm about to say. Now, yes, I might be exaggerating, but I might not be exaggerating. The greatest day of my motherfucking life was walking into Caesars in Las Vegas with this ticket and walking up to the window and
man.
handing it over. And the cashier looks at it and looks up at me, and she was like, I was hoping somebody would bring this to me because I went to Florida State. And I was like, yes! And she sat out there and counted out after Jameis hit for me at 25-1. I bet it in spring, before football started, because somebody was telling me about this pitcher, that was going to be our quarterback. Like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it felt so good, right? So I get it, man. I understand. You know what I mean? Like God forbid we like the fact that we can get a 22-1 number on our guys to win the conference. Like, we'd be stupid not to put a little something on it, because it'll be amazing if it works out.
Right.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's do a quick pro no report.
Yes, sir.
On the golf side of things, the U.S. Open was last weekend. The U.S. Open is the hardest tournament of the year, intentionally. Like the rough is hard. They choose the hardest courses. It's all the best golfers, etc. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Berger, Florida State guy. Brooks Koepka, Florida State guy. They were both in it. Berger was tied for 46th at +3. Brooksy was tied for 12th at +1. There was only one golfer. Exactly one golfer, the winner of the tournament, who went under par. He went -1.
Dang.
So even by T46, bravo. So bravo to both of our guys to Berger and Koepka. This weekend, both Berger and our guy Luke Clanton are playing in the Travelers Championship there. I think they're about to tee off. Actually, one tees off soon and one tees off a little later today. And Brooks is off this weekend, but next weekend Liv is in Dallas, so they'll be there. Okay, so that's the golf. But we got to talk about basketball. And you might say, wait. I thought all the Florida State guys who are in the NBA, all those teams are already out. And you're right. But we have a Florida State alum on the coaching staff of the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA. And we, as in you and I, have chosen to support the Connecticut Sun this season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a really bad start to the WNBA season for our Sun, bro. They lost by 8 last night to the Phoenix Mercury. They have started the season 10-2. And it's made me think, I'm internalizing. I get it. I'm making it all about us. I get it.
Oh,
but
you mean 2-10?
Sorry, 2-10. Pardon me. I'm trying to subconsciously trying to make it all better, but it's impossible. No, 2-10. It's really bad right now. Right? And I'm thinking maybe it's our fault, bro. We started supporting the Connecticut Sun, and look how their season started. We launched this YouTube page recently, and right before football season, for example, to be specific, and Florida State had the worst football season ever.
Yeah.
Maybe we're bad luck. Maybe we're the problem. Maybe it's all us. Maybe I don't know. I figured I'd just bring it up for conversation, get your thoughts on these feelings I'm having.
I'm gonna look at it as a series of unfortunate events. Football, that's DJU, no quarterback, man. No quarterback and no replacements for the talent that we lost. And even look at all the talent we lost in general. Like, it was just a huge dip in talent that we lost. And we kind of saw a precursor from that when we played Georgia with, bare bones and knuckles and got beat to a pulp. And then with the WNBA, it's the WNBA. It's early on. They still got time to turn things around. We'll see. But hey, you know what? Just in case we are the unlucky, charms of it, before football season kicks off,
Oh, we get it out the system.
I'll take a trip to the Root Lady, get some voodoo.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Let's
get them some real good luck charm stuff going,
Yeah. Some real Gulf Coast approach to this problem solving. Real Gulf Coast approach to problem solving, man.
Yeah, we going
show
to
up
the
with a
Root
little
Lady.
sacrifice and a little gift. You're always supposed to show up with a gift. little rum, little whatever, little tobacco, little box of nice cigars. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. No. I get it. Problem solved. That's how you do it in the swamp. I get it. That's some
so we're gonna be covered. We're gonna be covered next year.
I love you, bro. I love you. You're so smart.
Sage that's on, brilliant. Before we do the first show of the season.
Oh man. Well, yeah, we hope the Phoenix Sun turn it around. We're gonna keep paying attention. I have been I've been checking every morning after they play. I'm like checking box scores, reading a little story. I've watched a few minutes here and there because I got all the sports. So it's crazy. Mm-hmm. I can watch like lower division Uruguayan basketball fucking or like soccer from Armenia if I wanted. I have actually. It's nice. Great. It's great. So yeah, there it is, man. Hopefully the Sun turn it around. Hopefully we're not at fault. And or if we are, we're getting it all out of the system quick before football season starts up again.
Right on. Yeah. Now, sticking with basketball, and I just saw this last night. How do you feel about the sale of the Lakers franchise? $10 billion.
Yeah. Now they're not selling 100%. They're just selling majority ownership.
But what happened with the Mavs?
Right, but to figure out the cost, they have to evaluate the whole company, the whole team, right? Mm-hmm. And so the team was evaluated at $10 billion. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. That is now the most valuable sports franchise in the world.
Yep.
Now, I'm assuming that is largely because it includes that real estate, probably other real estate holdings nearby, probably the real estate holding of the surrounding the practice facility. I'm assuming that includes the WNBA, LA Sparks. I don't know if that's a separate entity or not. Actually, don't quote me on that one. I have no idea if that's part of the Lakers or not. And I'm sure there's other business entities that are like part of, that umbrella, where they have a stake in some, arena management company that covers, basketball teams in Chile or something crazy. There's all kinds of wild ways that these sports teams become more and more valuable. Look at the Fenway Group where they own, teams in 7 different, sports leagues or something ridiculous. So they say all that to say $10 billion, if that's the actual valuation for just the team and the team, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, what Magic said.
How much
Magic was like Magic was like the Celtics sold for 6, so I knew we could get at least 10.
Well, the reason is it's not even just about that. The Celtics rent and the Lakers own.
Yeah.
Right? The Lakers own was the Staple and now it's crypto.com, which means there's somebody else getting ready to negotiate naming rights afterwards and et cetera. Right. Whereas the Boston, like literally just had this conversation with Van Aylward on the Bet Your Ass show. He's been coming on throughout the NBA playoffs, and he's been great at predicting the games, but also just super passionate about specifically Boston area sports and Celtics. And we just had this conversation when the sale went down. If I'm spending $8 billion to buy the Celtics right now, it's because my plan is to move out of the Garden and build a facility. Like, how else do you improve on an $8 billion evaluation? Like, how do you keep it rising? Because that's your responsibility as the steward of a company that's worth $8 billion is to get it to 9, get it to 10, get it to 11. So, the ownership of that's why the Dodgers are worth so much money. Oh, wait. Same owner, but that's why the Dodgers are so expensive. They are worth so much as they own all those, the parking lots all around it. And Magic's part of that ownership group.
Yeah. And then I looked up the Sparks. They're owned by something Sparks organization, and then speaking of Magic, he is part ownership of the Sparks as well, LA Sparks.
Yeah.
So that's dope.
That's how you do it. When you buy a sports team, you don't need the sports team to make money every year. You need the sports team to pay all its bills, and just pay all the bills. Make sure everybody else is sorted, and that way, when you're paying, when you're selling later, you don't owe any money to anybody from the past, and you can, or you owe as little as possible, and it's gone up in evaluation. And the other way is you try to increase it. You try to increase the holdings, right? You try to increase the real estate holdings, the other revenue streams that aren't just team, right? That's the key. That's why you see a lot of teams taking over, like buying teams in other leagues, right? So now you'll start watch the Lakers will have a team in Euro League or in I made a joke earlier about Uruguayan basketball, but in the Uruguayan basketball league, and they'll that's what's coming next is team management services.
Yep. Especially with all these leagues popping up. Africa, I think, will be a spot that the NBA is gonna take.
They have their league
a longer. But I see the NBA in the future getting their hands into it. Maybe taking a team here or there or whatever.
I just suspect they're gonna keep I think the NBA Africa League, all 12 of those teams are owned by the NBA.
Oh,
right?
word. Okay,
It's but in the pre-existing leagues elsewhere, that's where you're going to see. I think the same ownership take over. You see it in soccer. That's where I'm getting the idea from. And then every once in a while there's some international tournament, and both teams are in the tournament, and some owner has to sell stake in the worst team, but. So what? He's forced to sell at a higher evaluation. Look, they're in this tournament, right? So it really works out. It really works out. But you're seeing it from sport to sport. Like the 49ers, the 49ers ownership group, they have multiple soccer teams in Europe and elsewhere, and they have, I believe they're getting into, or at least they're talked about getting into other sports too.
Nice, cool.
Yeah, but in the NFL, it's different because there aren't any other American football leagues. Right? So you have to, if you're going to invest in other teams.
All of that down, boy. I remember when we grew up, it was at least 2 or 3 other leagues. Had the Canadian League and the European League. And then there was the Arena League here, and all of that's done been shot down.
I mean, they still have the UFL. The Rock has his stake in the UFL, and there's still the CFL up in Canada. But
really.
Yeah, oh yeah. And they get, they do their numbers north of the border, but there's no. Every once in a while, you hear about a little European league or something popping up, but it's not like it used to be, right? What was that? Yeah. NFL Europe and the Rhine Fire or something, the Rhine Admirals or something. I don't know. Whatever. A bunch of teams. It was wild.
I just remember at one point in my life, you could watch football year round. I remember that, and that was good. That was good.
Yeah, I haven't gotten. I honestly, to be 100, I've never really given this new iteration of the USFL a chance.
Me either.
They seem to be getting a little bit of media buy-in. Their playoff games at least are on Fox and stuff like that.
Every now and then, I'll be flipping channels and I'll see a player that used to play for the Bucks or former Noel or something. I'm like,
I'll be watching Live Golf on Fox, one of the Fox channels, and I'll see commercials for the playoff. That's really all I know. All right, man. Well, let's wrap it up.
Yes, sir.
The National Show is a co-production between Broham and B. Abin, your Ash Podcasting Network, and it is available every Thursday morning that we do the show. During football season, it will be every Thursday morning. During the off season, it will not be every Thursday morning. But when you see the show, it will be on a Thursday morning, and it will be on youtube.com/@national NATIONOLE. You can also, same spelling, go to national.com or linktree.com/national. And it's not linktree.com. It's like whatever. It's Linktree
Mm-hmm. They know
/national. There we go. Either of those have all our links for all the social medias, and all the places to find us. So lock in, man. Say what's up. Tell us what you think. If you prefer the show as an audio product, it's available via betyourash.com and the Bet Your Ash feeds on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So that's BETYOURASH, Bet Your Ash. There you go. Yeah, man. We will be back. We will do better next time and every time. We have some things in the works. We're going to get some merch options up. We're going to get some new distribution routes in the set up. We're going to do some things, So football season is not far away, right? So we will be kicking off against Alabama before we realize. All right? Woo. It's exciting. I think that's everything. Did I miss anything?
No, that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, in that case, go Noles.
Yes, sir. Go Noles.
And you have just finished listening to The National Show with Gangsta, Physio, and McGee.